All right, guys, welcome back to Life by the Bow. Beautiful morning here. Been a little while since we've actually done some fishing here in the Keys. And if you guys are new, my name is Clay. My wife and I, we typically host this channel together, but she's off doing some real estate work down here in the Florida Keys today. So you guys are coming fishing with me. And you know, we've been doing a lot of traveling lately, but today we're in the backyard. And I'm actually really excited because it's been about a month and a half since we've actually done some fishing down here in the Keys. And you know, I know a lot of you love when I go out fishing solo, talk to you guys, give you some tips and tricks. That's what today is all about. We're gonna hop in the Pathfinder, fire it up. So let's go ahead and get after it. Woo, that 450 sounds good. All right, let's untie and get out of here. It is a great day to have a great day. But the day actually turned out to be a lot better than it was supposed to. You know, all week when we were planning this, it was looking like around 10 knots of wind, so I wasn't really too sure about going offshore, but woke up this morning, we have 4 knots of wind, which is fantastic. These are the perfect conditions that I like to take the bay boat offshore. You know, anything more than this, it can get a little uncomfortable. Though this is a 27-foot boat, it's nice to have the length. It's still an inshore fishing boat. 10 knots is the max that I like to take a bay boat offshore in, but today should be pretty perfect. You know, we should be pretty limitless, go as far as we want, do whatever we want. And these are the types of days that I love to go fishing. So we're gonna keep on moving and you see what we run into. Just found some pilchards here, which is pretty nice because bait can be really hard to find in the summertime. We're gonna drop the trolling motor here, try not to spook them. This time of year, the bait is really, really small. So you're gonna wanna use a 1/4-inch mesh cast net. And let's just do a quick throw just so we have some live baits. And we'll get headed offshore. Ideally, you wanna throw on them in some shallower water, especially with the 1/4-inch mesh net like we're using, because it takes so long to sink in the deeper water. So if we could get them in some shallower water, that's ideal. That way they can't swim out underneath the net. Not a ton, but it's better than nothing. A little something to just get some mahi fired up. Let's go catch some fish. So we're making our way out nice and easy right now. We're only doing about 20 miles an hour. But if you can hear, I mean, the boat's not slamming, we're riding nice and easy. And the #1 way that I guarantee you can get your boat to ride better is just by slowing down. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do for me and the camera crew. And it's something that I suggest for you and your family. You know, these boats have so much horsepower nowadays. You know, it's always so enticing to try to go as fast as possible, and it's more so just about being comfortable and just having fun out here. But the first thing that we're gonna do is make a stop at one of my deep dropping spots, and we're gonna kind of just pinball from deep dropping spots, and in between each run we're gonna look for some mahi along the way. Weather's nice, sun's out. These are perfect summertime conditions right here. All right, so just made it to the first spot of the day here. I'm gonna walk you guys step by step through what we're gonna do, but first thing we wanna do is drop down that trolling motor, then we're gonna come back to the helm. Now the key to what we're doing here is relief shading. And as you can see, there's really not a lot of structure here. And the bottom is probably only fluctuating by about 10, 15, 20 feet at max. Personally, this is the type of stuff that I like to look for and I think holds fish more so than anything. If you come to an area right here, I mean, you'll notice some of these places, there's just these massive dips and humps. Not saying that these areas don't hold fish, but I've always found little stuff like this to be most productive. So that's exactly what we have over here. And this is what we're gonna try fishing. And what's so cool about our setup here, what I can do is I can tap on screen right here, go to engage, turn on the prop. Once we get to where we wanna be, the trolling motor is gonna anchor lock right in place. So what we're able to do is put that rig right down on the bottom without drifting. So that way that presentation looks as natural as possible and we're way more likely to get bites. So in addition to our squid, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick on 2 big bonita chunks. Always helps if you have something a little different to offer them. We're gonna drop that down and see what happens. Fish on, baby! Woo-hoo-hoo! Uh-oh, did we miss him? No, he's still there. But that's it right there, guys. I showed you how it's done step by step. But essentially what I like doing is when we get that first initial bite, I like cranking up that reel as fast as possible. And then once we make sure that that fish is hooked, then we slow it down a little bit, which is what I just did right there. But got 400 feet of line out right there. And it's as simple as this right here. What we got? See a little bit of color. Oh, he came off. No, yeah, it's a blue line, tilefish. But as you guys can see, that's how easy that these fish come off. Luckily, he has barrel trauma, and we have a trolling motor. So we'll use our bait net right here to go and retrieve them. That's where deep dropping in some cases can be a little difficult because you want to make sure to put the right amount of pressure on there. Sorry, buddy, but that is a beautiful blue line tilefish right there. He wasn't too happy that we brought him off the bottom, but I wouldn't be happy either. But this is majority of what you'll catch deep dropping here in the Upper Keys. But these fish taste really, really good, and they're really abundant down here in the Keys. This time of year, they're open, whereas in the winter months, they're closed. So that's why we do a lot of deep dropping in the summertime, because this is what you can mainly expect to catch. But I know there's also some groupers around too, so let's see what else we can get off the bottom. Now I'm gonna show you guys a little trick that I did here. If you notice, what I did is I portioned out a 5-pound block of squid here into different baggies, because every single time I want a piece of squid, I don't want to bring out the entire bag. So therefore, all the other squid spends more time on ice, and the key here is honestly fresh bait, and that's what we're going to be using. It's just whole pieces of squid right there. Now what's cool about these new Penn electric reels is everything is battery powered. So, you know, on a boat like this bay boat that doesn't have electric reel plugs, we're good to go. And what's cool is the trolling motor is passively taking us to our spot while we get to do this right here. And that's what it's about, guys, is just trying to maximize all your time. But this is just a 6-pound sash weight. We may move up to an 8 depending on the current. And this is just 80-pound leader material, fluorocarbon. We got 3-way swivels there, big circle hook. And then what's really significant about the way that I have this electric reel set up is I have 40-pound braid. Most people, when they think of deep dropping, they want to use 60, 80. They want to try to use the heaviest braid they can. But I like using 40-pound just because it has a smaller diameter, and it's going to make it that much easier for us to cut essentially 500 feet of water. That's what we're in right now, somewhere around 450, 500 feet of water. The rig has just a little water activated light right there clipped onto the snap swivel. So the trolling motor just got us to our spot. Now what it's gonna do is it's gonna anchor lock by itself. So we're gonna come back and go ahead, drop this rig down. That's it, that's it. There we go. We got one more on here. So another reason why it's imperative to use electric reels whenever we're deep dropping, obviously it's so far down on the bottom, it makes it easier for us to do what we're doing out here and be efficient towards catching fish. You want to make sure that you keep the reeling consistent, because when the boat's rocking up and down, it gives that hook an opportunity to pop out of the fish's mouth. So we want to make sure to keep constant pressure and tension. So we want to make sure that we don't lose that fish. That is actually, ooh, I forget the name of these guys, but it's a species of porgy. It's another thing that's nice about using a shorter deep drop rig is it's easy to get in the boat. One thing I can say, you know, these fish that you bring up off the bottom, it's kind of insane the colors that they have. But I mean, just look at all the blue, the pinks, the oranges. It sounds cliche, but we're not really used to seeing fish like this unless we're deep dropping. And it's kind of cool when you get out into this deeper water how there's just so much variety based on what you could catch. But I think from here we're gonna make a little move, maybe see if we can get on some mahi. There's some birds working over there. It's right here, mahi, right behind the boat. I'm hooked up, baby. Woohoo! There we go. Ah, they're little peanuts though. Got this one in the rod holder here, just kind of keeping them around. Just gonna cast a bucktail real quick. Let me cast out some more freebies. Oh, there we go, I'm already hooked up. Woohoo! That one's legal right there. We're gonna flip this one in the boat. Oh, got a little headache before it came in the boat. Let's see if we can get another one. Before I cast, let's throw out some more freebies. Try to keep them around here. Let's go ahead and cast out. But that was it right there, guys, is the birds. The birds brought us right to the fish. I want to unhook this fish over here. Watch how easy this is going to be. Get that de-hooker in there. There we go. Just like that. That's why you always got to be ready to go, guys. You know, if you're deep dropping, always have a couple rods ready in case you see the mahi come around. They were really fired up, but they didn't stick around. But we got one out of them, so I'll take that. Nice little variety right there, but whenever we're deep dropping, it's always so much fun to just switch it up real quick. See what we get into. Not the biggest fish in the world by any means, but that's a 20-inch mahi. They have to be 20 to the fork right there, but you know, like I said, they all taste the same as big ones. All right, so now we're in 650 feet. We're in a little bit deeper. Same exact thing as before, guys. And you know, some people like making their deep drop rigs a little longer, you know, get some of the baits away from the weight there. But personally, I like a smaller rig because it just makes things a little bit easier for me. And another thing is too, sometimes a lot of these fish don't like coming up off the bottom. If it gets too high in the water column, they may not come off the bottom and eat it. And then once we get this hooked up, we're going down to the bottom. So now we're going right back up current, and every single time we get a bite, what I do is I go ahead and mark where we're actually getting that bite, because depending on the way that the current and the wind is going, that may change day to day. So basically what I'm trying to do is create a cluster of waypoints, basically where I'm getting the bite, because whatever's happening on top isn't where the bait is landing on the bottom. If the wind and the current's going a different way on a different day, that's gonna help us to know where we're getting our bites based on the cluster of waypoints that we mark when the fish are biting. Come on, give us one more fish here. That's all we want. Finally just got a bite. You can see we're working real hard out here. I think once we get this fish to the surface, we're gonna make a move inshore. But something that's really cool here, remember how I was telling you guys earlier to mark your waypoints? So I can actually mark waypoints here on the remote for the trolling motor, and it connects up to the GPS screen right there, which is so cool. So I don't have to leave this area right here for anything, but just kind of insane where technology has taken us when it comes to boating and fishing. And I think that this is only the tip of the iceberg, but Here's the way that I look at it. It's the difference between riding a bike and driving a car. We're driving the car, you know, we're bringing in the groceries, we're gonna go home, we're gonna eat good, and we're taking full advantage of the situation here. Oh, did he just come off? Came off right at the end there. Where is he? He's gotta be floating. Come on, float up.
There he is.
Yeah, there it is. Look, the hook broke off. Right there. But just remember that, guys. Whenever they break off right at the end, basically what happens is their swim bladder blows up and they can't swim back down. So let's go retrieve our prize. Gotta love that, guys. There we go. Woo! Oh, there we go. Still got a little bit of life in them. But that's what forced him to come back up to the top. As you can see, his eyeballs are all blown out. You actually look down his mouth right there. That swim bladder is actually pushing his stomach out of his mouth right there. So down on the bottom, there's immense pressure. But once we start reeling him up to the top, that pressure is then released too fast to the point where he can't compensate. So that's what's called barrel trauma. Let's move back inside and see what we can find on our way in. You know, the highlight of every offshore trip is running in and just seeing the clear water that borders basically the entire chain of islands down here in the Florida Keys. And what's so cool about living in the southeastern United States in the summertime, you know, at least down here in the Keys, the water gets really warm. To give you an idea, it's 83 degrees right now. So not only is it just so pretty to look at it, but it's just an awesome way to cool down at the end of the day. And conditions look great, visibility looks amazing. So we're just gonna hop in and just see what's down there. But we'll bring the spear gun at the same time just in case we see something cool. But we don't have a lot of time because there's a storm brewing behind us. But speaking of it, wanted to say a big thanks to Vaer. You know, you guys have been keeping up with us here on Life by the Bow. They've been sponsoring the channel. I wasn't a watch guy before they contacted me. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I wear a watch? And what's significant about these more so than any other watch is what you can actually do is you can remove the bands from them. So if you want to switch it out for something a little classier, you can do that. But obviously we have the rubber band right now. I think it kind of meets the occasion right there. Also something great to have on your wrist when you're diving. One of the biggest reasons why is because when I'm down there, man, I just lose it. I lose track of time. So it's nice having something on your wrist right there that not only looks good, it just helps you to keep track of time, something that is our most valuable asset in this life. So we're gonna hop in the water, cool down, and just see what we can find. So the visibility is awesome right now. It's so beautiful down there. But as I was swimming along, I saw a coral head and I was like, man, that looks like the perfect place for a lionfish to be. Sure enough, there's a big one right down there inside of the coral head. So figured while we're down there, might as well clean up the reef, see if we can spear him real quick.
So I've definitely shot my fair share of trophy fish. People don't really consider lionfish a trophy by any means, of course, because of their size. Just say, for example, if you're just getting into spearfishing or you want to get kids familiarized with spearfishing, these things are awesome and they make great target practice too. The best way to find them is just big pieces of structure. You know, there is that big coral head down there. So, you know, big caves, ledges, coral heads. You'll always find these guys either around those areas or inside of those areas. But what we're gonna do is take our Avail scissors here. We're gonna give them a little haircut because each one of those little spines right there have venom inside of them. All right, now perfect haircut right there. So now him and I look just alike. Awesome. All right, we're gonna head back to the house, fillet up some fish.
So you always know it's a successful day when we ended off here at the cleaning table. And what's so cool about living here on the ocean side down here in the Keys is this time of year, tarpon actually migrate through the Florida Keys, and tarpon are actually scavengers, just like sharks. But if I throw this skin on the hook right in front of him, there's no reason why he shouldn't eat it. That was easy. That is awesome. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That's awesome. That's what it's all about right there. You've seen him jump. You broke through that thing like nothing. That was sweet though.
All right, guys, so today I'm joined with Keely, who's gonna be learning a thing or two in the kitchen today. We don't know what she's gonna learn, but she's learning her alphabet right now. Keely, so today we're gonna be cooking mahi that starts with an M. What do you have to say about that? There we go. So here we have some mahi we're gonna be cooking up. I did pre-make some mango salsa. All I did was chop up some cilantro, mango, sweet onion, green pepper, a tomato, put some lime juice, and then season it with some onion powder, garlic powder, a little bit of salt, and just let it sit there for like a good 2 hours now. But anyways, so I'm keeping it pretty simple. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this Hudson seasoning. It's an all-purpose. It's great for fish, and we're just gonna season it, blacken it on the pan, and then pour our salsa on top, and it's as simple as that and as tasteful as it's gonna be. I'm excited to try this because it's been some time since we've had like a sweet salsa. Keely, what do you have to say about that? Well, she's ready to eat some mahi. As you can see, she's cleaned her tray off. Oh, geez. Thank God we have a dog that's gonna go around eating it and picking it up. Best vacuum cleaner you can buy.
Who gets to try it first?
Keely.
Keely? What do you think, Keely?
It was good. It was really good.
Keely approved. Kind of cool to be back here at the dinner table here in the Keys, just because we've been all over the place. And
it has been kind of wild. Now that I think of it, it's been a few months since we've come back to here.
I know, and this is what got us to where we've been going, and that's just traveling all over the place and just having amazing opportunities. You know, I'm hoping to bring you guys more informational videos like this, just because I know that you guys really enjoy it, in addition to our traveling content, which I think is so cool. But been getting a lot of questions from you guys about what we're going to be doing as far as replacing our boat that we sold. We don't really know. We're trying to work some things out right now, but anything is possible. But with that being said, it was just an awesome day of fishing. I hope you guys enjoyed not only learning a thing or two, hanging out with me, and then of course getting to be here with my family at the end of the day that I'm so blessed to have. But this is what it's all about right here. It doesn't matter if it's 10 fish or 1 fish to feed the family, as long as the family's fed. If you guys want to continue to support us, watch the rest of our videos in our library. In addition to that, support us on availgear.com.
That's what she's trying to say. What do you have to say?
Can you at least say bye? Can you say bye-bye?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Say bye-bye. We'll see you in the next video.